Hello, everybody. It's War with a Mate. With me, James.
Me, Andy.
The podcast in which we play the campaign for North Africa, as long as that may be, and whatever perils come our way during it. It is a long board game. If you're here, you've probably heard of it. We're near the end of our practice scenario.
Yes, we closed out turn 5 today.
Turn 5 is over, which means there is only one turn left. Turn 6. For everyone keeping track of it.
Before the end of the practice scenario.
That's it. And then when that's done, we'll play the full game.
All 111 turns.
We mean it. This hasn't been a joke. All the way up to now, we've just been getting ready for it. And this is episode 81. We've been playing since about episode 15. So it's taken a while.
Yeah.
And we've got faster. But looking at how today's session went, it was my land movement, and it took a while. It was about 4 hours.
Yeah, it was an involved. You moved a lot of stuff around, and also we had quite a few fights. So yeah, it was a hefty session.
Without any rule clarifications this time.
No, we just got them wrong without realizing. No, I think we did. Fine.
We can't say that we didn't get anything wrong. I guess initial thoughts, Andy. How are you feeling? Because last week you were all over the place. You were really frustrated with the game.
Fortunately, I've been able to center myself over the last week. How are you feeling?
You know what? My sardonic approach last week has somewhat softened. I think going away and looking at the situation I'm in, the rules that I've been getting the grips of over the last 18 months, I think it was very frustrating in the moment. It really got to me. And I still think it's justified to be annoyed at this game. However, I've spun around on a bit more of a positive viewpoint because I had a lot more autonomy this week. And that autonomy meant I was able to do stuff, whereas last week it was all based around me having one reaction because it was on the back of your movement. And when I couldn't do that, I spiraled a little bit.
A little. Just a smudge.
A hair.
That's the word.
And this week, it felt better. I don't forgive the game, but I do feel like I'm on level footing with the game now.
Of course, why would you forgive the game? It did nothing wrong.
Right, don't defend the game. It doesn't need defenders. Campaign for North Africa apologist.
Someone's got to do it.
No one has to do it. It's inanimate. It's cardboard. It's lots of cardboard.
I think we all know it's more than that.
Don't get deep. Don't get philosophical and poetic with me. It's a long game. It's in picture frames in your living room with metal sheets behind it.
You know what else goes in picture frames? High art.
And, like, drivel. And this sits, I'll say, somewhere between. I struggle to say it's art.
That much better than you would have been last week.
The commentary on it, however, I would say is art. What we're doing, it's beautiful.
I mean, it has no purpose other than itself, which I guess is a definition of art.
That's true. It's unique.
That's not a definition, I don't think.
It's not a definition, but it makes art more interesting.
It's a selling point.
If you bought art and you're like, hang on, I've seen this one before. If I painted Mona Lisa 2, or just another Mona Lisa and just called it something else, you'd be pretty pissed off.
I wouldn't be angry.
If you were into art and I peddled it to you, I was like, look at this. This is
If
brand
I was
new.
into art and someone came to me with a picture of a woman, I'd be like, no, Leonardo did that.
No, but it's specifically...
You can have one portrait of a woman, one landscape.
It's specifically meant to be... Because you got lots of podcasts about board games as well. This is different, though.
Okay.
It's like if I painted, like... If Leonardo da Vinci painted the most difficult woman in history...
And who would you think the most difficult woman in history is? Let's name and shame, shall we?
I'm not gonna pick that out on the podcast. There's people who are difficult in everyone's lives. Everyone probably has a different answer to that. It's not for me to say or choose.
Expertly sidestepped.
I'm not going to name and shame a one woman and say they're the most difficult woman ever. That's not for me to decide. What I can decide, though, because I do have much more of a soapbox to stand on, is what is the most difficult board game? It's the Campaign for North Africa.
Sure.
Difficult, not in the ins and outs of the rules. They're vast. I got lost in them. Lost amongst a maze of them. It's meant to be confusing. It's not complicated. And today, I think, was a nice snapshot of that, because we got a lot done. There was a lot of land combat, but it actually boiled down to playing a game rather than figuring out rule mechanics.
Yeah.
All of today felt like tactical decision based on the back of your tactical decision.
That's fair, yeah.
First and foremost, well done to you.
Thank you.
Because you have boxed me into a really difficult situation. Moving around today was a nightmare. I think it's actually the catalyst for what went wrong last week, because I was in such a bad position that me trying to figure out those rules hinged on the small things I could do, the few options I had, and when they started to fall apart, I panicked.
It went all right for you, though.
Today went, I think, about as well as it could have. Dice roll forgiving.
Yeah.
So we started off with my movement on the back of the, I guess, pretty destructive turn that you had. You did some real damage.
Yeah, I hit some of your divisions hard. Didn't get much positioning-wise, but yeah.
Yeah, positioning, not so much, but you don't really need positioning when the road ahead is now clear. So I had to counter that. So I decided to redistribute the location of my men. I built along a wall, and that wall had been present for a good turn now. I've been using that as the infrastructure for all of my turns. It's maintain the wall, stop your advance. After your devastating hits on my guys last time, on your turn of the op stage, I decided best thing to do is be the aggressor.
Yeah.
It's the advice I'd had from the start. From all of the advice that we'd have, whether it's from the Echoes of War guys in episode 3, whether it's from people who send in emails, it's always been go on the offensive as the Italians.
It's also called Graziani's offensive.
It is.
Although he wasn't particularly offensive, so that's fair.
I guess he was offensive to cultures, nations, sensibilities,
human nature.
It's just our
probably
species.
God.
I do reckon that there's definitely moral arguments for him being an affront to God, but I've not read enough of the script to understand.
And he died being like, I'm happy to go to God, which also frustrated the shit out of me.
Yeah, you shouldn't. It is kind of a flip off at the last minute. Yeah, like, I'll go see God now.
Just I nailed this.
No, you did. You nailed being a real piece of work.
Yeah.
That's being generous. What a dickhead.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sidestep that one.
Tell him what you really feel.
Yeah. You hear that, Graziani? I don't like you. I'm representing your movements in this game, and I'm doing it better than you. Yes, I may have starved countless more men than you did.
No, you certainly didn't.
Sorry,
you certainly starved less people than him.
That's a good point, actually. You know what? I can always go home and sleep tight with that knowledge.
Maybe we shouldn't be drawing direct comparisons between you and Graziani.
Yeah, I don't want to find one that's like close.
No.
Don't think I could, but I don't want to check. So, on the back of your horrendously aggressive movement, I went aggressive. And that aggression took the form of motorizing 2 of my divisions and speeding them off towards you.
Yeah.
So, and we've got a picture of this, which will come out on the Instagram alongside the episode. I decided to move the 2nd Libyan Division into Bardia and fully motorize them. I moved the 64th Mamarsia Division, and I fully motorized them. I moved the 62nd Division. I didn't motorize them. I just put them straight up along the... Who have been fighting? The Australian?
Yeah, New Zealand.
New Zealand. The 2nd?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2nd New Zealand.
The Kiwi boys.
Went up against the Kiwis. Thankfully, the 20th Maori weren't there. So I didn't be as terrified.
So you didn't do everyone wasn't killed in the bayonet charge.
So I wasn't killed and traumatized in the process. No, instead what I did was move the 62nd along the track. They just walked over there. After motorizing the 64th, I've sped them along. So I had them next to each other, both adjacent to the New Zealand guys.
Yep.
Combat commenced.
It did, yeah.
In amongst that combat, I inflicted 15% losses on you.
Yep.
Which is pretty comfortable. I took a pretty hefty hit of 25%.
Yeah, I said I had a real Babe Ruth call a shot moment there where I just went, it's 11, and then I just rolled an 11.
Yes, which is the ideal roll in close assault. You get an 11, it's the best way it can go. The interesting thing about this combat was that the combat differential worked out as 0. It was flat.
Yes, for that one. You had a bigger group of guys, but the morale is so good.
Morale is a massive
such an equalizer.
I committed 125 raw strength.
I think for that one I did.
You said 99.
Yes, for the first one, yeah.
So you committed 99, I committed 125. 0, so worked out. I lost 25%, you lost 15. I still have the majority after that, so I still have the advantage, if you will. And it's close. In amongst that, we barraged as well. I pinned one of your guys, you pinned one of mine.
Yes.
So that also was to be factored in.
Got a low percentage run off on my case.
Yeah, you fired off a bit of a scatter shot.
Yeah.
I went off with 2 pretty big barrages,
2
7
sevens,
points each.
which is a lot.
Yeah.
70 barrage.
Yeah. I pumped in a lot. I used my the 62nd and 64th, and once upon a time the 63rd before they got decimated last time, have a lot of guns. And those guns have really good barrage ratings.
Yeah, I've noticed you and I've been doing the selection when you get to pick from air bombing or pinning in combat. You seem to have a lot of guys with 5 guns in. Mm-hmm. Seems to be almost like the template.
And some of those guns, I've got multiple toe points and they've got 9 barrage rating.
Yeah. Oh, so I think you've got 9 is better than any of my barrages that I think I've got.
Possibly.
I think the highest I've got is in the 7th and it's got 8.
Yeah, I've got 9s, I've got 6s, and I've got some 5s. Those are the values across my guys.
Yeah.
9, 6, 5.
I've got quite a lot of 6s.
6 is still really good.
Yeah.
But you have to, same as every other combat value, you have to divide it by 10 in the end to get the actual. So it means you really have to stack those points up. So my 3 that are 9, really it's only 3 barrage points. 3 actual.
Yeah.
If I've got 3 toe point of those. So barraged, had the combat, 0 differential. That was with I had a flat morale because of a good roll on the cohesion. And you had +3.
Yep.
So 3, and then with the differentials, they were both divisions. So all in all, you'd lose 15, I lose 25. Fair enough. Second bite at the cherry. I attack again. Same guys, same position. You weren't forced to retreat. So we go at it again. This time, the differential, I believe, swung in my favour. I think it was +1.
It was +1, yeah.
Swung round, I lost nothing.
And I think I lost 5?
5% on your end, 0 on mine.
Yeah.
You did have to retreat. I nailed the retreat, so you were pushed back a hex. So that was good. I took that in my stride. With you being pushed back a hex, I decided to go for a bit of a different tactic. I moved the 62nd, 64th to follow you, and the 2nd Libyan who were motorized. What they had done earlier is they moved along the escarpment, but they went north of it. Yeah. So around the area that the 63rd fell into when they were pushed over the edge last time. So I had them snake up, and they came up along what was now a slope, because you were previously butted up against an escarpment hexside.
Yes.
But that retreat forced you against a slope hexside. The difference between the two is pretty significant. Instead of it being a 6 difference, a 3 difference on escarpment, it's a 2 difference. Yeah. Which is, it's one column, that's still important.
Especially with it being columns, because some of the middle tends to be, I think it's 4 to 4, plus minus is there 1, but then later it goes into 2 or 3 numbers per column.
Yeah.
And the terrain moves you columns, which means it can be a really big boost.
So I was pretty pleased with that, boxing you in. I thought the 2nd Libyan Division are pretty spick and span, and the 64th have used up quite a bit of ammo. Their cohesion was still alright because they managed to push you and they were motorized.
Yeah.
So they got +3 cohesion from pushing you on. They were motorized already. So when it came to tackling you there, I thought, these 2 divisions boxing you in, this will go well. Not as well as I thought. So in that fight, it came down to a bit of a messy situation because it was actually negative on the modifier for me.
Yeah, because weirdly, because you pinned last time, even though I had losses the fight, I had a bigger actual score than I had the fight before.
Yeah, it worked out at -3.
Yeah.
But you rolled poorly, so I took 0% again.
Yes.
Very pleased about that. I took off 15%, I believe.
Yes.
Which I'm happy with. Boxed you in, shot at you, all good. And then I decided, well, I took 0 losses, so what I'll do, since this whole plan was to try and push you a little bit and also disrupt your supply line, I moved the 64th in a bold push to your supply dump.
Yes, you did.
And now that was difficult because that pushed them over cohesion. That meant that they ended up on -5 cohesion, then they had a fight there. They went up against
they went to -10.
Overall, yeah. Some of the combat units. So they were butted up against your 6th Australian Cavalry, I think it was.
The 6th Australian Cavalry, the 11th Hussars, and the 1st Chi, which are from the 4th Indian.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a showdown. That ended up flat again.
Yes.
After all the differentials. -4 for me because of the morale difference. +3 to you, -1 to me. And then on top of that, we had the messy situation of division size. You were battalions, I was a division, so that's a +4 to me.
Yes.
Becomes flat. And then we committed the
5.
Yeah, the same size.
Because that was
Because that was just one of my divisions, and that was what's left after the big slug.
Yeah.
With the New Zealand. So that panned out all right because I did some damage to you. 5%?
Yes, which knocked off one of them.
Which I was pretty happy with.
So the 11th Hussars, because they were down at 1-2, because they were my truck bandits for a bit, and then they rejoined with the 7th.
Yes, that was it. I knew they came from somewhere. Yeah. Bastards. So that meant 0% for me, 5% for you. I'm happy with that. I break them off, and I position them in a bit of a precarious zone, and I've now cast a net. Not the instrument, not a caster net. I've cast a net around that area, because your guys are kind of boxed in.
Kinda, yeah.
It's a very loose net. There are occasional gaps, but for the most part, any direction you go between the 7th Armoured and the 2nd New Zealand, they will touch a zone of control.
Yes.
Or an escarpment. So I've got them boxed in quite nicely. The plan was to make sure none of your trucks could get to them, but I had to make a decision when I broke off the 64th from that engagement. It was to determine whether or not I stopped trucks getting to the 2nd or the 7th. I chose to block the 2nd. I did not realise, however, the gap was big enough in the middle that if you get them to the 7th, they can go to the 2nd from there.
Yes.
Which is exactly what they did in your truck movement.
Which I guess if you'd put them in the other way and blocked the 7th, they would have just gone.
It's the same, I guess.
It's a sort of 6 and 2 freeze.
For some reason, I hadn't computed the fact that that gap in the middle works as a bit of a pathway between the two. So unfortunately, that meant your trucks did get where they needed to go. But I did have some more movement that went on. That was moving my recon guys who broke off, the very frustrating situation I had last week. The recon guys that broke off that I was going to have speed over to your supply dump, they were broken off, and I sped them round instead to the road up from the escarpment to the east.
Yes.
Which means I've cut off a bit of a choke point. So if you want to get your trucks up that way, they'll have to pass through there.
Yeah.
Or the more likely situation, you're going to send is it the Indian Division, 4th Indian?
Yep.
You're going to send them up and you're going to destroy my recon.
They're in City Barani, yeah.
Yeah. They're going to... I know what you're trying to sidestep this. They're going to destroy my recon guys.
Maybe.
Someone is going to destroy my recon guys. I'd be shocked if they're not touched by this.
I don't know.
Because it's a very... I've created an awkward through road for your trucks. I feel like if you want to get your trucks round, they kind of have to go really out their way to circumvent that recon group.
The thing is, I'm feeling good about supplies now. Like, really good about it.
For ammo?
Yeah.
Even after all that?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Well,
you must have churned through a lot of ammo in that fight.
The 2nd New Zealand used, I think it was 70 overall.
Yes, that's a lot.
Yeah. But this is also a fact of we're doing a 6-turn scenario. This would not be applicable in the main game in any way. But they didn't need to get any stores moved. because I'd done it in op stage 2 and 3.
Right, so you've been bolstering them with ammo for this last turn.
Yeah, because it's not a sustainable thing, but because it ends in a turn, I can just be like, well, you have all the stores and probably fuel and water you need for the rest of the game.
Yeah. I'm fine for fuel and water.
Yeah.
Ammo, I've taken a bit of a battering, but I did some rejigging of that at the end. Stores are dicey. However, I did assess today. So, for some more context, when I've motorized my guys in Bardia, that meant removing my 3 big convoys.
Yes.
I've condensed all of that down into just motorizing those guys with a few spare trucks, but they've been attached to them as well. So that meant I've got no big convoys anymore.
Yeah.
Apart from the one that usually supplies Map B's airfields. Now, Map B is covered in sandstorm.
Yes.
So on my truck movement, I decided to just zip them along and resupply some ammo for the guys on that front line, and then pop them back to Bardia, rather than going back to Tobruk.
Yeah.
Used up pretty much all of their movement, and I lost 25% in breakdown, which is costly, but it is kind of last chance saloon here.
Yeah.
So with that, I was fairly confident. To bolster Bardia, I moved my 1st Libyan Division, and I also moved the Oreska Regiment.
Yep.
So they're up there as well. That made me feel comfortable with Bardia's position, because I've got a division in there, I've got the regiment garrisoning that. It's fortified.
Level 2?
Fortified level 2, so pushing them out is going to be a nightmare for you.
Yeah.
And they've got loads of units around them, surrounding that place.
It's not even like I can just put guys on them, because if I do, I just leave the entire map open, and I'm probably not going to get through them.
Yeah, you'd have to somehow get through the wall to get there in the first place. And Tobruk's also fortified. It's got 2 of the black shirt groups in there, so I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I don't think I'm taking Tobruk.
So the only other movement I did was to move the 4th black shirts down to the southwest a little bit to cut off a bit of a crossroads just north of Madalena.
Yeah.
So all in all, the wall is maintained. I've inflicted some losses that I'm comfortable with. I'm happy with those. Used up quite a bit of ammo, but I've used my truck convoy in a bit of a different way. I've kind of accepted that the only planes I'll be using are going to be the ones on map A for the rest of the scenario.
Oh, so you're sort of mid-range.
Well, they're bombers, so they're...
Yeah.
And mid-range is map C.
Oh, I was thinking mid-range would be map B. You would be, like, ignoring those guys.
Oh, yeah, I can hit map B still pretty comfortably. I can't really do anything on map A, but I don't really care to. Sorry, not map A. I can't really do anything on map D.
Yeah.
So I can attack your guys on the front line with my bombers. That's all I really need. I've used up my convoys. They're gone. So the game state now is I've got 2 more motorized divisions. I've got ammo to that area. I've held the line, and I've fortified the line in a more aggressive stance. And I also now have 2 divisions on the downside of the escarpment.
Yes, down on close at the coast.
Yes, one of which is motorized.
Yeah.
So all in all, I am pleased with this. I'm happy with where I am. It's not where I would have wanted to be if I had to tell myself what turn 5 would look like, but it is way better than I thought it would have been when you started attacking me at the start of this upstage.
Yeah. No, I feel like we're fairly even.
I think you've definitely got the advantage when it comes to making offensive movement, but I think I can hold out long enough to stay out the practice scenario.
Yes.
I don't think I need to worry about you hitting a win condition.
No, I don't think so.
And that's what I'm trying to prevent. I'm trying to prevent a win condition.
I think there is... No, I don't... Maybe. I don't know. I'll see over the next...
I think the issue is you would have to have Siwa, which I think you could realistically take Siwa.
Yes.
You would also need to have Bardia.
Which is less realistic.
Bardia, that's the sticking point. That's what I'm making sure to defend. I don't think you can get to Bardia. I think I've disrupted your supplies enough that I can continue to batter you with more attacks, and I might be able to wear down your ammo to the point where you can't sustain the attack all the way to Bardia.
Yeah.
Not with all of the guys you'd have to fight.
No.
At the moment, I think looking at this, if I had to make a prediction for the end of the game, end of this practice scenario, I think I hold my previous winning position, which we sort of agreed is the pseudo win condition, that I hit a win condition, held it for an op stage, and move on past that. I don't think you'll find one. I think I will be able to hold this.
Would just Siwa and Bardia be one?
Siwa, Bardia, and City Barani was one I needed. I don't know if it's different for you.
I think it will be. I'll probably need something from your side that's almost my equivalent to City Barani.
It might be like Salem or something.
Yeah, maybe Hellfire Pass.
Yes, possibly.
That's one of them. I'm not sure if that's the tactical, strategic, or decisive.
I think you could take that. I think because Hellfire Pass is on the border of the escarpment.
Yeah.
And I've got some guys there, but it's mostly my garrisons from Bardia and Tobruk, so it's a lot of guns. So I think I could keep you pinned there for a while and hold you off.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I can stop you over the course of 3 op stages from breaking that line. So you could take that, but after that you have to take Bardia.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction. How do you feel? Do you think you might be able to pull something out the bag at the end here?
Potentially. I can take Siwa. That's fine.
Siwa's fine because it's undefended. I know for a fact if you march your guys to Siwa, you'll just take it.
You've got some guys down there who could...
I've got a garrison in a town and they're starving.
Oh, they're just fucked.
Yeah.
Cool. So I can take Siwa next op stage. That's fine. Which gives me 3 op stages to focus everything on Bardia.
Yes. So holding Bardia is my main concern. Keeping an eye on Tobruk just in case is another one.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're going to leave it alone if you see that Bardia is not going to break.
It's more of if you have to relieve Tobruk. If you have to take people out of Tobruk to relieve Bardia, that's when I might look at it. Because at the minute, is it 2 divisions?
One of them is a division. One of them is smaller.
Yeah, it's just stacking point-wise.
The third black shirts, I think, rank as a 3 on their card.
Oh, okay.
Which is not a regiment. Maybe it is a regiment? Yeah, I think regiment.
Yeah.
Possibly. Whatever it is, it's a 3 on the stacking point value.
I don't actually think the names are that useful for it, because even on the table it does it for stacking point rather than...
Yeah, and 3 is, I think, what they're at, but they're sizable.
Yeah.
What they do have, a lot of guns.
Yes.
And if they're in a fortified position and they're just barraging the shit out of you with unlimited ammo...
Yeah.
Which is what Tobruk effectively is, given the amount of time we have left. They could barrage you with everything they have over and over, and it wouldn't make a dent in the supplies I have there. So, I think end of turn 5, 1 turn to go. I'm glad that both of us feel like there's still...
game to be played.
There's still a horse in the race. Because if there wasn't, this would kind of feel like a bit of a... going out with a whimper rather than a bang.
Yeah, I think also this is a good time to be trying stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of high stakes in terms of the game state, but low stakes in terms of we're probably going to be done in like 10 sessions.
And this is what I wanted to try. I wanted to try a hard, aggressive approach to see how it balances out. And after today, I now have an idea that 2 divisions up against one of yours, realistically, it's probably going to end up being an even fight.
Just so you've got it, the second aren't a full division at the minute.
Well, that's worse then.
They're missing an HQ with like the infantry that includes the 28th Maori.
What I do know, though, is that the 7th started off weaker. Because don't the 7th start off just scattered all over the place?
Scattered everywhere, yeah.
So if I just rush the 7 from go...
If you can try and like isolate the 7th while it's in little pieces, that's a huge one.
And I think I might be able to tear them apart a bit in the main game.
Because they're the anvil for, I guess, the first... Well, Operation Compass, the first 20 turns.
Yeah, if I can break them early...
No, I think they stay around a bit, and then obviously we did a series on them, but yeah.
But I'm happy going into turn 6. I think we're giving it a send off that it should have, which is going to be more fights and
Loads more fights. Yeah,
hopefully a bit of an explosive conclusion, and all for that Kinder Bueno. What, 2 Kinder Buenos? We doubled down.
Yes.
So we've got 2.
Well, it's more than 2.
More than 2.
Well, Perrin gave us a 4-pack.
Oh, are we using those as prize as well?
I think I'll also buy one, so it's not.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
so
can't
you'll
get
get 5, I guess.
I also like that you said you'll buy one, because that means you've just given up that you believe that you've lost.
I guess, sure. I guess more if I lose, I will buy one, and then you also get the 4. Okay, you can...
Freudian slip.
Okay. But
You've lost.
Remember, we have to get the Bueno from
Durham
the vending machine at Durham train station. So that's going to be an expensive Bueno.
To be fair, it's not actually that expensive to get the train, you know.
Oh, it's also, isn't it one stop?
It's not very many. I think there's definitely a train that goes direct to Durham.
Oh yeah, so they just kick you off at the next stop if you haven't bought a ticket.
Yeah. Right, I wouldn't do that because I think they also fine you. I don't think you just get a free ride and they're like, oh, well, get off here. Don't do that again.
I'm thinking of...
Otherwise, people would always just not buy a ticket if they're going one stop.
I've based my conception of reality on a TV show again, I've just realised.
Which one?
You know when Jeremy goes up to follow Dobby and Mark, when Mark's going to tell... And,
in Peep Show, yeah.
And then the ticket inspector comes and is like, oh, do you not have a ticket? And he's like, no. He's like, you have to get off then. And he's like, I was just going there anyway.
See, you thought you'd take the
Jeremy from Peep Show. I'll take his lead.
Yeah, that's a horrible... I mean, yeah, he becomes a life coach later on in the show, but...
Which, can you aspire to more?
Yes. God, I hope so. Have bigger dreams than being a deadbeat in a show about 2 hopeless people. So, yeah, the Buenos are on the line. It's a toss-up, but I do like the idea of using the gifted Buenos we got at the live show from Perrin as...
Because it's a reward for the winner, but there is a bit of a penalty to the loss. So I think, yeah...
That's an interesting thing then. For the buying of the Buenos, do we just send the loser off on their own?
Yeah.
Do we both go together, or do we just send the loser on a solo
to Durham?
Trip? Yeah.
I mean, the loser just has to sort it out.
Well, we need proof.
Oh, they have to, provide a picture of them at the vending machine. Here's the thing. You could actually buy the Bueno from somewhere else. You just have to take a photo of yourself in front of that vending machine. So you might as well buy it from there.
What would be my favourite outcome of this situation is you lose.
Of course.
You get the train to Durham. There's no Bueno in the machine.
So I can't
so you have to go back on multiple trips.
No, I have to run out into Durham, find a corner shop, buy a Bueno, and then post a caption like, bought the last one.
Well, no, actually, even better than that, I'm going to come along with you.
Okay. So we're both going to Durham.
And if it's the case that there's none in that machine, by retreat rules in the campaign for North Africa, you have to retreat to the nearest supply dump. So then you have to wander into Durham and find the nearest Bueno. And if there's none in that shop, you have to continue on. But you have to check every single shop that sells confectionery.
Yeah.
Until you find the Kinder Bueno.
Yeah, that's...
That would be my ideal outcome.
Okay.
I push you on in a march through Durham. It becomes the campaign for Central Durham. Well, there we go. Now I've got something to really inspire me. Making you wander through Durham until you find a Kinder Bueno. At a certain point, it'll be a given.
I mean,
they have
I
Buenos.
feel like they're every shop. They're like, I feel like if you're starting a corner shop and you're like, we need 10 chocolate bars, they're in it.
They have to be. They're great.
Yeah.
And then we also have the 4 bonus ones from Perrin, which is great.
Yes.
So, there we go. We have
5
the prize.
Buenos on the line.
And based on the current rate of play, we've been gifted a 4-pack of bonus Buenos in the 18 months we've been playing. So for the next 58 years, we'll be gifted dozens of hot 3-course meals for the full scenario.
That would be fantastic.
Although there is something...
That is something I would like.
Although there is something a bit more disappointing about going to a live show, for example, and someone shows up and they're like, I brought you a hot 3-course meal, which I guess would have had to be cooked at some point earlier. So we've just got, I guess, leftovers delivered to us at a live show, which you have to eat a lot faster.
That's still awesome.
I mean, yeah, I guess you have a different desire from this.
That's
this
a nice
project.
home-cooked meal. Get going home.
Well, you heard it here, folks. If you run into Andy in the wild, bring him a 3-course meal in Tupperware.
I will not accept 2 or 4 courses.
Sorry, you won't accept more courses.
I've asked for 3.
Don't fucking snub that kind of generosity. So, yeah, you wouldn't have like the sort of like appetizer, starter, and then main and dessert.
I might go appetizer, starter, main, or starter, main, dessert. It's dealer's choice on the 3 courses.
I would drop the dessert personally.
Same, but it's up to the person making me this lavish meal.
I think dessert's overrated. Maybe that'll be a common ground one day.
I used to be all about desserts, but now I very rarely get one.
And you matured.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We moved our trucks. Like I say, that's my truck movement described. Your truck movement, Andy?
So I wove up that little path we mentioned. So I was able to supply the 7th and the 2nd, New Zealand. 2 of my Mercer Mature convoys went to the 2 guys who were nearby who'd gone to chase the 2nd Black Shirts after their lunge.
Yes, yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah. One came from Mercer Mature and one just stayed at City Barani.
So it's a fairly good spread.
No more trucks to Alexandria, I don't think.
That's interesting.
Maybe.
Your stronghold of supplies.
Yeah, I think well, the train is also a pipeline, so it does water for me.
Yes, I guess you've got that.
So there's basically, as long as that gets Mercer Mature has unlimited water, which means it just needs to do fuel and ammo at this point. But it's pretty nicely.
Oh, I should have moved the 2nd further along and touched onto the railroad.
And it would have...
You would have had to move guys further back in order to then take it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that would have been good.
Yeah, because that railroad is your westernmost guy. Easternmost guy. But it don't have to be touching the railroad. Just the easternmost.
I think I have to hit the railroad.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's like offside rule in football. I think I actually have to be on the railroad.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise, I guess in theory, I could just have guys start at Siwa and just dart along the desert.
Along the bottom.
And then it's like, why the fuck can't they use the railroad hundreds of miles to the north?
Because we've got to deal with this.
There's guys all the way down there in Siwa.
There's guys dying in the deep desert. We cannot run the trains.
As a moral standpoint, it would be wrong for us to use this to supply water to our men. It would be unfair and uncouth.
Sometimes it's difficult being the good guys.
I wouldn't know. Historically, I'm the bad guys. But that's turn 5. That's what it looks like.
Hell of a turn.
You know what? It's got ups and downs. War isn't easy. And I'll take the good with the bad. Frustrated last week. Tentative about where it's going this week, but definitely positive after a game session that once again felt like a game that I understood.
Yep.
I love when I understand what I'm doing. So now all that's left is to bombard turn 6 with as much casualty and chaos as we can to see out the end of this practice scenario.
And I need to conquer Benghazi.
I mean, you can give it a jolly good go, but Benghazi's a fucking
it's so far.
long way away. And I've got guys on a road that takes me straight there.
Yeah.
What I don't want to do is fall for a feint on your part where you make it look like you're going to Benghazi. I send my guys from Tobruk, and then you just nip into Tobruk. But I can move everybody within those 3 cities very quickly. But what we can't do is move people if they don't tell us that they've been moved. And that's what you will do. You tell us that you've been moved, that you've been inspired, or that you're listening to our podcast, which is the thing we'd most likely expect if you email us. And that's what we're going to find out about right now. We're going to delve into the mailbag and see what emails you've written with your keyboards. Deep in the mailbag, we have found an email from Monty. And Monty says, advertisement purchases. Good afternoon, y'all. I just finished episode 74 where you talk about the advertisement and whether or not people purchase from them. I have never purchased anything advertised to be online. Certainly not anything that was suggested by Amazon, but you need to keep in mind that these style of advertisements aren't targeted towards a certain group of people, of which the three of us are included. You also play the campaign for North Africa, eh, Monty? I see. An exclusive group. There are people out there who will genuinely purchase anything that catches their eye if it is put in front of them. Think of the stereotype of old grannies sitting at their TV and purchasing items from the adverts. The ones that say limited time only or call now for our exclusive deal.
I think there's another modern version of that as well, I've noticed, which is the people who seem to have like a tremendous amount of like crap in their house from the TikTok shop or Temu or
just about
one of them. Yeah.
Now, I used to be victim to this. I don't know if you remember, Andy, when we lived together and I used to use the app Wish.
Yes.
Now, I had a bit of a troubling relationship with that app because I bought a leather jacket from there for, I think it was £4.50.
That was a really good leather jacket. It was like, leather obviously, but it lasted forever.
I still have that jacket.
Yeah.
And we lived together. That was our second flat that we had together. And that must be like 7 or 8 years ago now. 7 years ago? Second one would have been 7 years ago.
Longer than that.
Yeah, because we moved in together in 2017. So 2018
moved
would
in
have been the
together when
second
I was 20.
Yeah. So
9 years ago.
Wow. Cool. That's a bit of my lore that I didn't realise.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, I've got that with this place where I'm like, how long have I been here? Because I moved in during COVID, so it's just like a lot of null time.
Yeah, I always forget about that we moved out of our place together in COVID, went our different ways, and then...
Yeah, I think we like... It was between the first and second lockdown, I think we like... That brief window when you could actually do stuff.
Yeah.
We used it to move.
That's wild. Yeah, so I bought a leather jacket from there, which I still have now, and yeah, it's a bit tattered and worn now, but it looks cool, actually, with the sort of like tattered, worn look. And it's a fucking brilliant jacket, fits perfectly. I love it. Still have that thing now, and I will not get rid of it. And I thought, well, that showed up, that was great. I'll buy some other stuff. So something else I bought.
Like a Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. So yes, that is... So I go to the Halloween night out in town every year.
You love a Halloween night out.
I love a Halloween night out, which we will actually mention something to do with that in a sec. A podcast-related thing. So I thought, well, I'll get a Spider-Man costume. That'll be cool. So I bought the Spider-Man 3 Venom Spider-Man costume. But the sizing chart, I either misread or it was just a lie. Because
you said you got a medium.
Yeah. And I'm a medium, or it could be a small based on my build in some places. Like I'm a slender guy.
Especially then.
Yeah. So I put this thing on and it zips all the way up the back, and I tried to zip I remember I was in the hallway. Yeah, into our flat, and I remember zipping it up to my head and immediately panicking because I was stuck, hunched over in a position where I could no longer unzip it.
It essentially forced you into the fetal position.
I was in some sort of Spider-Man cocoon.
It feels like it was a medium from like the 11th century when no one had nutrition and everyone was like 4'10".
Like I had to like sort of tense my body and like push outward with my back to pop the zip off the top near my head in order to escape.
It must have been a medium for like a medium under 13. It's like, do you have a husky 10-year-old?
Yeah, is your 10-year-old ripped? Because you'll love it. Even then, it wouldn't have fit.
No.
It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I have fallen for that. I also bought face masks for COVID from Wish, and that was in January of 2020. I was ahead of the curve.
I actually am now just thinking I did recently make a purchase based off seeing stuff on the internet.
Yeah? What was it?
You know that thing and you just clamp it down and it chops vegetables.
Oh, is that any good? I nearly bought one the other day. Just like chips and stuff. You put a potato
Just anything in it, it just dices it.
Yeah, is it good?
It's awesome. It saves.
Does it actually just work as advertised?
Yeah.
Because stuff like that, I see it and I'm like, that's too convenient.
Because I kept seeing it on like food YouTubers.
Yeah, I get that on TikTok. I see it on TikTok. It'll come up halfway through a scroll.
But that wasn't. I guess I did get advertised, but I didn't buy a brand because there's enough of the.
Yeah, you see the idea and you're like, well, I want one of those.
Yeah. Where
can I find generic potato slicer?
Yeah. But honestly, as far as kitchen gadgets go, I'd say that's that air fryer, and I want to get a rice cooker next, and those I think are the three.
So what we've done now is we've started to advertise products
to other people, yes.
So this becomes a third line of advertisement where people, if someone buys it now, we're talking about people being susceptible to silly adverts.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, Monty, you said people out there which we're not in the group of. I think we're discovering us two at least are in the group.
Yeah, Monty, unless you've bought a very convenient vegetable slicer or a very missized Spider-Man costume, we are not the same people. There's actually no overlap. These two Venn diagrams, it's two circles. So, I'm sorry for disappointing you there, Monty.
Yeah, I think this gave us too much credit.
I also think this undermines everything I said in that common ground. I think I've undercut myself massively. The second thing is a time where I did end up purchasing / enrolling with a service. Okay, we're fine. We're safe.
We jumped.
Okay,
we jumped right there.
Not because of the advertisement, but because when I needed it, I had already been advertised about it a lot. I used to use Spectrum for internet in my apartment, but they were consistently horrible. Several times every day, the internet would just drop, and I would have to turn the router off and back on again. Eventually, I got so irritated by this, I cancelled with them. Though they keep hounding me for payment a month after I'd already cancelled. Oh, here, Monty, I've had that with utilities so many times.
They want their router back. That one was...
Oh, that was another thing when we moved out from our place, where they kept on calling me, asking to speak with you, saying that they hadn't had the device returned.
Which they had.
And, the guy picked it up. The guy showed up in his van.
But it was during COVID, so we had to leave it on the front step, and then he came up and got it.
Yeah.
I think they just didn't register or log whatever that.
Yeah, I remember very distinctly because the guy was a real piece of work. Because he called us up earlier on the day, and it was COVID, and he's like, look, I'm going to be around like 10 a.m., 11 a.m. We're like, all right. And then he called us like, look, I'm going to be here earlier. We're like, okay, that's fine. And he's like, yeah, you need to make sure you're in, though. And it's like, yeah, it's COVID, we'll be in.
Yeah.
But it's a lockdown. And he was like, yeah, just let me know what time you'll be free. And it's like, right, you've given us you've said you'll be here. Just come anywhere in that time. We'll be there.
I'm legally not allowed to not be here.
Is this a trap? Is this like some sort of like government like entrapment scheme where you catch people? And he picked it up, and then they said they didn't receive it.
Yeah. So that guy just got a free room.
I think they have to activate it, so I don't know how that works. And how to get a new internet provider. At the Walmart by my house, there were frequently people standing near the electronics section advertising Frontier, another internet provider. So I gave them a try, and they've been perfect for the 2 years I've been with them. I guess shout out Frontier.
Okay, we're now advertising Frontier.
Frontier, if you're listening to us, by all means get in touch. We'd be happy to have you. We've only heard good things. The funny thing, though, is I still get the little plastic advertisements that go over the door handle showing up in my apartment, and I'm just surprised they don't have notes about the fact I already have service here. Oh, Frontier, don't get in touch with us. You've got bad bookkeeping.
Also, he's just casually mentioned something, which I'm guessing is an American thing, of them putting a thing over your door handle.
I guess so, yeah, we don't have that. I know the shopping centre.
It makes me think of like a hotel with you. Like,
that's exactly what I thought.
Do not disturb. Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of with that. That's interesting. We get like every time I come to yours and I open the door, there's always like a flyer here because you live in like such a massively advertised heavy area for some reason.
Well, I live near three like restaurant takeaway streets, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm fairly close to the center of town, so I think a large amount of the trash gets delivered to me.
Yeah, you end up with so much stuff. It's stuff we used to get because we live near here.
Yeah.
And I remember the amount of crap we would get from the local takeaways all the time. But Monty goes on, anyway, that's a lot of words to say I got Frontier because of the guys at Walmart. Stay subtle, humble, and brave, Monty. Well, thank you very much, Monty. You've been in touch before. It's always good to hear from the repeats and hear what's going on in their life, especially when it runs parallel to ourselves.
Yes.
It seems all of us can look down on those who buy from advertisements, but are we really that different? Or maybe we're all the same. We're all just easily influenced. I don't think I've bought stuff from... What I don't agree with, I think I might have mentioned this in the common ground, so I'm probably retreading old ground, but the thing on Amazon where it's like, people that bought this have bought this.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but I don't want the full package of stuff. Like, you're talking about like buying one small piece of equipment, and then you're talking about something that's like £500 more. You can't trick me into buying that. Recommend something cheaper, maybe, but don't try and like go all in. I'm not fucking stupid.
Like, you bought something to like clean your shower. Would you also like to buy a water tank and a shower?
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. The problem here, I know what you're doing. You're trying to convince me the shower's the problem with few words. I'm not falling for that. Get lost. So that is the mailbag. The thing I wanted to mention that is tangential to the mailbag, and this is something we're still getting to the ins and outs of, but as we talked about today, Halloween. Our 100th episode lines up with Halloween. So the Friday, the 30th of October, will be episode 100. So what we're looking to do is some form of live action. It won't be in person, but some sort of live stream. Ins and outs, TBD, but bookmark that. Wherever you are, we're going to try and time it so it's late on Friday, the 30th of October, so that our weirdly global audience can all get involved in that.
Yeah, because it's hard to get time zones between Chicago and Australia.
Yeah, Chicago, Australia, and then some parts of the UK. But then also we've got a lot of the so we've got like Iceland. We've got a lot of like spread across Europe. So 30th of October will be 100 episodes for us. We want to do something big for it, and we don't want people to have to travel. So if you're around on that evening, keep an eye out. We'll have more stuff come out in future. We'll let you know what the plan is, but that, just bookmark it. That's coming. We'll let you know more when we know. We have no idea yet.
Yeah.
As is our mantra. That's the mailbag. If you want to get in touch, whether it's game related or common ground related, anything related, we will read it out. It is info@warwiththemate.co.uk. We have an Instagram, which is just warwiththemate. Our website is... It has a web form on there. You can check out the stuff we've put on there. It's warwiththemate.co.uk. We'd recommend using the email address, not the web form for now, because the email address is being well maintained. The web forms are being sifted through, but the system we have for it is lackluster.
Copying and pasting them into an email and sending them to the email.
And we've lost track of some of the web forms and the emails, so yeah, and we want to read everything. We don't want to miss anything because it's been lost in admin. So if you feel like you've sent something long enough ago that it should have been read, whatever your metric is for that, fire it over by email. There's no harm. We will not read it twice if we've got a duplicate. So it's all good.
And just to give a sense of where we are in the we're currently looking at sort of March, April-y.
Yes, if it's earlier than that, we've missed it. If it's earlier than that, it is lost.
Fire another one over and we'll bump it up the queue.
Yes, we'll give you a priority list if you can prove you send it by web form.
But we have no way to prove it.
So we'll be susceptible to deception. Speaking of susceptible to deception, Andy, I believe we have some history to delve into.
Yeah, let's talk about some British people.
Yes, let's see. Not us, some other British people.
Almost a collective.
Let's see how this goes.
The men of the long-range desert patrols were quite a sight on their return to Cairo from a month's trip to Libya. The contrast between the east and west of the Nile is very marked. In the east, the country... At this point, I gave little thought to my future, but had always been interested in boats in the sea. I am more or less in the position of a captain in command of a ship, which is on the point of sinking because errors are present.
We are absolutely not qualified to share views on history. So, Andy, where and when are we?
Well, we covered the Italians and the Ottomans entering World War I. We've got one more entrant to cover at this time. The British Empire.
Oh, those guys.
Yes, those guys. So, start with a quote from Lord Guichen, the first Lord of the Admiralty, which is again, just awesome title. Not quite. Okay.
The Fruit Zone.
Thought we'd break it up a little bit. I'm going to go for grapes or bananas. Big one.
Grape.
Banana. Grapes are choking hazards.
Okay.
The Fruit Zone.
So, Lord Guichen, First Lord of the Admiralty, in a speech in 1896, "We have stood here alone in what is called isolation, our splendid isolation, as one of our colonial friends was good enough to call it." That colonial friend is a Canadian politician called George Foster, who said, "In these somewhat troublesome days, when the Great Mother Empire stands splendidly isolated from Europe." So yeah, in 1900, the British Empire is the largest global power in history. It controls 20% of the Earth's land, with 400 million people living in it, which is a quarter of the population of the world at the time.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's just insane as well being in the UK
Yeah.
and knowing that we were the center point of an empire that expanded so far.
The largest empire in history.
We don't have buses or trains that run on time.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. It's such a weird disconnect.
We've been in, it was described as managed decline. Don't know how well they managed it, but
That's kind of how it feels now.
yeah. It also has the greatest navy in the age of naval dominance. But one of its holdings that is very important to us is Egypt.
And we know Egypt well.
Yes. But holding is definitely an oversimplification of the arrangement at this time, because Egypt is technically an autonomous province of the Ottoman Empire. However, from 1882, it's been under de facto British rule, something called the Veiled Protectorate.
Veiled Protectorate.
Yes.
That's a cool name.
It is, yeah.
Oh, I might steal that for D&D and switch it up a little
Oh,
bit.
you could... it's also called the Veiled Protectorate because Britain don't own it officially, but as we'll get into, they have an obscene amount of control over Egypt, so that's why it's veiled. So they took indirect control for numerous reasons. One, Egypt's in deep financial trouble. They go into huge debt to build the Suez Canal, which, despite opening in 1896, it's so bad that Egypt goes bankrupt in 1876. Sorry, it opened in 1869, and they went bankrupt in 1876. And this causes Britain and France to step in and set up something called the dual control system, where they take over Egypt's budget.
Interesting.
With the goal primarily of ensuring that European investors get paid back.
Great. Well, I'm glad they're putting that money back into the economy locally.
Yeah. It's also vitally important to British geopolitics, as the Suez Canal saves a ship 10 to 14 days to get to its eastern colonies, such as India.
Oh, wow.
So you save 2 weeks not having to go around the Horn of Africa. Not the Horn of Africa, sorry, the bottom of Africa.
Yeah. You know, I didn't actually know what that translated to in terms of the Suez Canal. I imagine shipping time is a little bit different now, but...
It'll be, I imagine the type of ships will be probably faster, but...
Yeah, but it's still...
I don't know, maybe those cargo ships are actually slower because they're so big.
I know
but
stuff goes slow on sea. You know, you're still looking at... Was it like 4 miles an hour or something ridiculous?
Yeah, it's not.
I know it's constant, but like it's slow.
Well, remember how much trouble there was when that ship got sideways?
Yes.
Where it was like, if they didn't sort that out pretty quickly, it would have a similar effect of like closing the strip. Like, there's a couple of very narrow, very important waterways.
Yeah, it's so wild that there's a strait of water. That if a ship gets stuck in there, the world is like, well, we're done.
Fuck, we need to sort this out.
The economy's crashed because a boat is stuck.
So, the foreign control of Egyptian politics was also causing a massive amount of resentment, and as was happening at the time, there was a nationalist movement forming, as Egyptians go, why are we being owned by either the Ottomans or the British? We're Egyptian. It's the same problem the Ottomans and the Austrians are all having, where like empires hitting nationalism, and nationalism wins out, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's smaller scale.
Yeah.
It's more unified in a more personal identity than abstract empire.
Yeah. This leads to an uprising in Egypt, but the British are like, we cannot let this go. So they bombard Alexandria in July 1882. And then there's a full-on British battle where the Egyptian army gets crushed in September 1882 of that year. The occupation is then meant to be a short-term intervention while everything gets sort of put back, sort of more stable in theory. But the British stayed there for decades under a veiled structure to sidestep the Ottoman Empire, because like we haven't technically taken it over, so they can't have a diplomatic incident. Yeah, so Britain would have direct or indirect control over Egypt until the last British troops left in June 1956. So this is a good 70-year run.
That's a wild period of time.
Yeah. So this is going to... I was just looking at the Egyptian holdings there, but this is moving on to the Britain's overall diplomatic strategy at this time. They're pursuing something called the splendid isolation throughout the 19th century, which was mentioned in those initial quotes, which might feel like a bit of an oxymoron because it's the British Empire. They're not isolated. They're an expansionist colonial empire. But what it actually means is they have a policy during this time period of avoiding permanent military alliances. The belief is that they should be flexible so they can maintain the power balance of power in Europe, but mainly focus on expanding their colonial interests. So they're just not making treaties with Europe in the sort of back half of the 19th century.
It's a bit of a roadblock.
Yeah. It's also a bit of a... Well, we'll see. So Foreign Secretary George Canning, whose principles would go on to design this policy, summarizes it as follows. Non-intervention, no European police system, every nation for itself and God for us all, the balance of power, respect for facts, not for abstract theorems, respect for treaty rights, but caution in extending them, England, not Europe. Europe's domain extends to the shores of the Atlantic. England's begins there. So it's this idea of like we're a global power and we are separate from Europe.
That's an interesting standpoint. I mean, yeah, can you really include us in a general broad stroke
Europe
when there's a global empire at play? Yeah. The rules don't really apply the same, surely.
Yeah, and we've always been isolated from Europe, I guess, by geography. And that, through time, has led it to be historic and cultural as well, to a certain extent.
Well, yeah, because
we've never...
In Europe, there are very few island nations that are just broken off.
No, there's the, Greek islands, but they're not... There's also a Greek mainland.
Yeah, I don't know, in terms of, sovereignty. So, yeah,
I think we're the only place in Europe you can march an army to from another place in Europe.
Greenland and Iceland, do they?
Oh, Iceland, I guess.
Yeah.
Greenland, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're...
I don't know the state of sovereignty for them.
Yeah, because...
I know it's recently been called into question.
Yeah. But either way, I guess as a European power, Britain's always been isolated.
Yes, yeah. Greenland and Iceland never really had an empire that stretched... Yeah. 20% of the land on the globe. No.
Which is also kind of, because we were talking about last time with it being 83% of the globe is owned by Europe.
Yes.
And then Britain's got 20%.
Yeah. That's an insane
We were punching so far above our weight.
Yeah, how did we do this? Well, colonialism, I guess.
Yeah, and industrialism. So anyway, part of this isolation policy was the concept of the two-power standard, which passed as part of the Naval Defence Act of 1889, which basically Britain decided it would have to have a larger navy than the next two largest navies in the world combined.
Yeah, I see why they would do that, but kind of a dick move.
which at the time was France and Russia.
Interesting, because you don't see those two coming together.
No, although they were allies during World War One, they were part of the Triple Entente.
I guess you don't see them coming together against Britain.
No, I think it's sort of because also they've got this isolation thing, so it's like we need to be able to beat an alliance.
Exactly, and I'm thinking, in what situation do France and Russia come together that doesn't drag other nations into the conflict?
Well, to fight Germany.
Yeah, I mean, like against the UK.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Against Britain, against the British Empire. You don't really have...
No.
Because this treaty, does this...
This isn't a treaty, this is an act of parliament that encourage... I don't have the exact figures, but they built a crazy amount of ships in a short time. I think they built like 70 ships in a decade or something.
So who is this against? Who is it that we're putting this restriction on?
It's a British manufacturing policy. So it's, we must make enough ships that we have.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was like some sort of embargo on, like, another nation can't have, like, globally some sort of treaty.
They do.
I misunderstood that.
They do come in, those kind of treaties you're talking about do come into effect in, like, the 1920s after World War One.
Yes, I'm thinking like a Versailles situation where it's like the British Empire kind of put out a thing of, like, no other two nations can have something that, you know, builds up a naval force unless collectively they make up less than ours.
No, this is less we can enforce it on other people. We're gonna
pump out a lot of ships. Okay, this makes more sense now.
Which lasted until the early 1900s due to a few things. One is the rise of the industrialized nations like the United States and Germany, who are both more technologically advanced than France and Russia and have a stronger industrial base.
Yep, checks out.
This means Britain just cannot, at this point, afford to continue outproducing literally the entire world.
Yeah, I mean the US as well.
Yeah.
The vastness of it. It's with the US as well, like from go, it's borderline industrial.
Yeah.
Like, the railroad comes in super quick.
Yeah.
Relative to its nation. And its
also
lifespan.
America's just like the perfect place to be setting that up. You've got like the Mississippi Delta, which can feed everyone. You've got like everything you need to be, because it's so big as well.
Yeah,
like,
it's so vast. It's got all the bits and pieces you need. I see why they did what they did.
Yeah. So yeah, Britain can't afford to outproduce the entire world here. And then the British Navy really shoots itself in the foot. Because in 1906, it launches the HMS Dreadnought. This is a turbine-powered ship with massive gun batteries, which means it's faster and has a longer range than any other type of ship or any other ship on the sea when it launches. But this also renders all previous ships essentially obsolete. Like, some people refer to the old ships at this point as 5-minute ships because they would last 5 minutes against the Dreadnought.
Wow.
So what they've done is they've essentially rendered the last 15 years of intense shipbuilding pointless and reset everything, so they have one Dreadnought and everyone else has 0, which is a much smaller gap to close.
Oh, right, okay. So now everyone is looking at, I want to build my Dreadnought.
Yeah, and all the old ships you had, like your legacy stuff, is not useful.
Your naval strength is kind of null and void. You've reset the board entirely because now it's about Dreadnoughts.
Yes.
Right, okay, this makes a lot of sense about naval restructuring and how that power shift comes into play.
Yes.
They've went too far with their own upgrade.
Yes. And the Germans are able to build Dreadnoughts at a comparable rate to Britain.
Right, okay. This is painting a bit of a clearer picture.
And this is part of what contributes to the end of Britain's isolation, and it has to start finding allies because it's got equals.
Yeah, other people can build Dreadnoughts, so we need to team up with the other Dreadnoughts to have a comparable force.
Because our entire fleet is now...
Oh, imagine being in that meeting where, you know, you've created the Dreadnought, you've designed it, you've created it, and then it's like, but what if they do that?
Yeah.
So surely there must have been some sort of discussion at some point where they're like,
do we do this?
Yeah, like how, because that seems, like on paper, when I'm hearing it now, that sounds really short-sighted to make a ship, because what was the stoppage from someone else making that ship?
They could have, I guess. That's the thing. I think it wouldn't be called a dreadnought because, if I'm remembering rightly, each class of ship is named after the first ship of that type to leave.
Yeah.
So, like, the destroyer, the first destroyer was destroyer. Like, dreadnought
I didn't know that. That's
made
cool.
the name of the class of ships dreadnought. But there would have been whatever the German version. Like, this was coming. It was like combining steam power, huge gun batteries, but all the same size. And they got rid of the small and medium guns on it because it's like if anyone gets close enough, things have got completely fucked here. Like, we should be killing people on the horizon, not.
Yeah, there's no way it should get to a close assault.
And yeah, these ships are also, because they're steam turbine powered, they're faster and they have more range.
Yes.
Which that is a combo that just cannot be beat.
Yeah, faster and longer range.
You can't
lose.
Yeah. So this wasn't the only thing that knocked Britain out of its isolation, although it's a very important factor. The other, and is a lot of illusions Britain has about itself, are actually shattered by the First Boer War in 1899.
Oh, yes.
So this highlights several issues for Britain. First off, Britain has no friends.
I mean, we've kind of been douchebags historically at this point, so...
But this really brings it into, like, this is almost the sober moment or the moment of clarity where it's like, oh, I've alienated everyone.
You wake up after a night out, you're hungover, you've got beer fear, the anxiety's kicking in, and you go to message someone and realize you're blocked.
Yeah.
And then you go to message the next friend, you're blocked. Everyone hates you.
Yeah, because it's currently engaged in disputes with the United States, France, Germany, and Russia, all of whom's government and population are overwhelmingly pro-Boer and anti-British in sentiment.
Oh, brilliant.
Which they're right to be because of the way they handle it. But this exposes the fact that if a major European power had decided to attack Britain at that moment while its army was in South Africa, they'd have no allies in Europe to protect them.
That's a grim realization.
Yeah.
When your navy's just become defunct.
Yeah. Oh, the Dreadnought launches in 1906. This is 1899.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But, sorry,
we've got some time.
Yeah, there's just various factors that end this isolation. So, yeah, the war also exposes the weakness of Britain's armies. The Boers used modern rifles paired very effectively with guerrilla tactics for devastating effect. And the British, in response, responded with extreme measures such as pioneering concentration camps for civilians, which again greatly stains its international reputation.
Yeah, rightly so, because as soon as you implement that, you're a bad guy.
Yes.
I think there's not really a historical example where you do that and you're not the bad guy.
Yeah. No, there isn't. Yeah. You just can't.
I think it's objectively evil. So. Yeah.
So this is, the Boer War highlights how alone they are internationally almost, and like how they're very not liked. It also reveals a massive internal societal problem, which is when the war starts, between 40 and 60% of working age men who volunteer are rejected due to being physically unfit to serve.
Oh, man.
And this leads to a realization that having massive industrial slums with poor sanitation filled with sickly and poor people who were poorly educated meant that they had a generation that was too weak to fight a war against another vital and robust power. For instance, Germany.
You know what? I bet that would be the same now because I'm not fitting well. I know most of the people in my circles, I don't think could fight a war. Yeah.
And we'll get into it next time, how this affects them both domestically and diplomatically. But part of this is a lot of... They start passing, like, education. They create sewers. They try to deal with the poverty. And it's just the thing of, like, it's never from, like, looking out for poor people. It's purely, we need these fuckers to fight and they're too sick.
That's such a bad position to be in.
Yeah.
Where you look at your draw of fighters and realise that your country's so ill.
Yeah, with smog, rickets, people just not getting treated. It's also 40 to 60% is the national average. I can't remember which town it was, but it's like a industrial town. It might have been Liverpool. But they had something like 8 to 10,000 rejected out of 12,000 volunteers. Because it's
God,
a
that's so
particularly
many.
bad... Like, yeah. So this is also including the rich people and the people who pass. So
That's
the rates
wild.
of, like, the poor are fucking insane.
Which I know the divide now is, pretty crazy in terms of wealth gaps, but health gaps,
Yeah.
just to be fit to fight.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the testing was back then to determine it, but I imagine it's a bit more primitive than it is
Yeah.
now.
Well-
in the words of Frank Reynolds,
Yeah.
science back then was real crude.
Well, people then were malnourished. Poor people then were malnourished. If poor people now are typically overweight because they're...
Yeah, it's all
Like,
like
that's how
bad goods.
But
yeah.
either way, you can't fight.
Yeah, regardless, you're not going to be good in a war zone.
Yeah.
Also, just side note, smog and rickets, they sound like old-timey issues.
They are.
Like, there's just something about it, like I don't know, the way the word hits.
Yeah.
Like, smog is definitely a thing now, but, like, smog and rickets.
If I hear smog, I think of like a foggy, dirty, like Victorian London.
Yes. And rickets just sounds like such an old-timey illness and ailment.
Yeah.
Like, nowadays, like, COVID-19, that sounds kind of sci-fi.
Yeah.
Rickets. That was back in the day. Rickets was an old-timey illness.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Britain had its splendid isolation, which was not so splendid.
No,
and this will lead to a churning of deal making, which will pull them in a World War One.
splendid isolation. You mean having no friends?
Yeah.
That's not splendid isolation. That's bad.
No.
There's no splendor in this whatsoever. It's bad
Yeah.
shit.
I can't remember who had the quote, but it was like it was either a prime minister or like the foreign secretary or something like that, had a quote where it was like, Britain just needs to lazily float down the river of history and occasionally pull out a billhook to push itself off an obstacle. I was like, that's not... You've not reached the point where it's all downhill.
How long's that going to last, buddy? As we found out, not forever.
No.
Well, another swell history segment, Andy. I'm interested to see how we end up, historically, tied to the First World War. But so far, it's looking like because we're pariahs on a global scale, and because our boats are fucked by our own making.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Ties it all in nicely.
Yeah.
The only other thing to tie in nicely now, what a beautiful segue, is our journey. Because ours is one also fraught with obstacles, but the one thing that we can't do is leave this without any friends.
No.
We need to remain friends
We
by the
cannot
end
have
of
a
this.
splendid isolation.
There cannot be any splendid isolation in this.
Common ground, the enemy of splendid isolation.
If they had common ground, they would never have ended up in that
We
situation.
wouldn't have either of the world wars.
We wouldn't have had any wars. Everyone would just be kind of, beefing a little bit, and then at the end of the day, they'd go, hang on a moment, what if cats were municipal property? And then they'd go, haha, that was funny. Anyway, we're pals. But they didn't. We instead take on that burden. And so, let's move on to some common ground. And now for something nicer. A little oasis in the war. It's time for some common ground. I'm trying the intro for common ground. I'm recording it. Maybe. Yeah. Well, our common ground has to be a chance for us to discuss a topic, come together on it, and remain friends during our conflict. And with only one turn to go, it's important. And I've got something for us to discuss. Whether or not it'll unite us completely, I'm not sure. But my common ground this week is we need to figure out what old people can do.
Okay.
So, people are living longer nowadays.
Yeah.
Significantly more so than they used to. You'll hit retirement age and people can live another 30 years after that. I'm not even 30.
Yeah.
I haven't hit 30 yet, so they've got another one of my lifetime on top. And during that, for the most part, they will be people capable of thought. I know, yes, you've got diseases that will debilitate as you go on.
Because the average is like mid to high 70s for men and like low 80s for women in Britain, isn't it?
Yeah, so you've still got like, a decade on average after retirement for some people. So with that, nowadays you've got so many different things that are diminishing human output. Automation, AI, a big one in the vague terms that it's described as. You've got all these different forms of output. So old people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying put old people to work, because I think there's something quite nasty about that. They shouldn't have to work longer. I don't think elderly people should have to work beyond a point where it's fair for them to maybe, call it a day. But there's got to be something that they can put out there. And you've got your David Attenboroughs, you've got your national treasures where they're pumping stuff out, where it's like really big and really impactful.
Yeah, but also he's got a job I would do till I was 100.
Yes, well, that's it. If my job,
he's got one of the coolest jobs ever. It makes sense he's doing it to 100. It doesn't, like, if you're a cashier or a retail worker, you might enjoy it, but you're not wanting to do it forever.
Well, if I was a retail worker from like age like 16 or 18 and I just did that constantly, I think I would be dead by like 50. Like the toll on your mind, and there's certain aspects
and the erosion of your faith in humanity.
Yeah, there's certain aspects of that kind of, because what I will do, I will call into question here Noel Edmonds. Noel Edmonds at one point was on some talk show or something and talked about how negativity impacts health, and that people with he mentioned specifically people with cancer, I think, and might be paraphrasing some of this, but this did stick in my mind.
Is this
so
like a
it must be
placebo
rooted.
effect thing?
Yeah, it must be rooted somewhere that he said something negative about people with cancer, that they think negatively they'll die. They need to think more positively, and it's like, right, okay, I get positive thinking. Placebo effect has been, to some degree, proven that it has some impact on health.
It's a thing. And I think there is a thing of like a good attitude does.
A good attitude does help, absolutely. I found that in my life. There's been situations where a more positive outlook, I feel things go better. I feel like my look is better. I feel like things just work more smoothly. So there is some actual credence to that.
Yeah.
But by the same merit, that's not everything. Old people will have ailments and afflictions, but if you put them to work for their whole life, it will diminish them. There's got to be something else, though.
Do you have any ideas?
Well, that's what I need to figure out, Andy. We need to figure out what they can do, because
I've got one, I think.
Okay.
Childcare is really, really expensive.
Yes.
I reckon if you could do a thing where, like, if a grandparent is looking after their child, they get like a carer thing.
Yeah, like a carer's allowance, because you do have that for people who, I guess, because you do, I guess there's two sides to this. I'll put up both sides. You've got the fact that carer's allowances and stuff like that, child benefit, they exist already. But the thing is, child benefit's already paid to a parent. And carer's allowances are a bit different. So you kind of, I guess, if you take carer's allowance and you're not paying someone who might have that anyway, carer's allowance tends to apply to people who are caring for people who are vulnerable or have disabilities.
Carer's allowance might be the wrong thing, but like a thing where it's like, oh, if the grandparents take their grandkids to like look after during the day, say, for 3 days a week.
Yeah.
They get like a bump on their pension or something.
Yeah.
Because the parents also then can spend less on nursery. I think it's a thing of like, they do a lot of useful, productive stuff they can do.
Yeah.
And it's just if you can maybe incentivize.
Because I guess in the UK, we've got like childcare. Like for childcare, you get like a certain amount of like childcare, like days covered, hours covered with like nurseries and stuff. So you do get that covered. So I guess you could diminish that slightly and have it paid at a smaller rate to grandparents. I just don't know what that impact has on like nurseries and stuff. Like if that starts to buckle that economy a little bit.
Maybe, yeah.
And also, when it comes to childcare, and this is speaking as a parent, when it comes to childcare, I know what it's like to look after a young kid. So when it comes to an elderly person having to do that, there are, times for me where it's like, ooh, this is, you have your moments, and it's not the end of the world as someone who is in their 20s. But when it's someone who is 70 plus and they're having to deal with a kid who can run around anywhere,
yeah,
that is how well of a caregiver can a 75, 80-year-old be?
I guess that'd be, you get into a thing of like essentially testing
safety as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you test that? And at that point, there's so many illnesses that old people can, latch onto.
And I guess kids are just like little petri dishes of. Okay, so maybe
that's a good point as well. The kids will kill off the elderly. You will have an arms race of disease that the children don't know they're fighting, where you take a kid from a nursery, you put them into an old person's home. That old person is dead in 6 months. If they're seeing them every single day, that old person will perish.
Okay,
well
so
before
maybe
their time.
not childcare.
Childcare feels dangerous.
Okay, that's fair.
Maybe
because I do also. There's something. This is also like helpful for elderly people because people really. It's sort of the positive attitude thing, but I think people really fade when they don't feel useful or like they're contributing.
Yeah,
and then it can't.
Well, you see it with people a lot who are elderly. I had it with my great granddad. Was he lived to be about 90. And he was actually in the North African campaign. Shout out. He lived to be about 90, but his health massively deteriorated when his wife died.
Yeah.
When my great-grandma died, he started to like drop off massively.
I think
dementia was a big part of it, but like it seemed like such a sharp decline, and you see that a lot.
It's like the loss of a long-term partner just after retirement is also a big one.
Yeah. So I think being productive in society, I think for the people themselves, for the elderly, that's got to be beneficial. Keeping active, whether it's the mind or the body, I think the mind is probably the more likely thing you can keep active.
Yeah.
But without it being work, it feels like it's a weird balance.
Yeah, because you don't want to exploit.
You don't want to exploit, you don't want to enforce.
And you don't want to basically make a soft raise on the retirement cap where it's like you retire and then you do 10 years of your like old people civil service.
Yeah, I guess it's more like what kind of artistic or creative output can you encourage for the older generation?
Here's one for you.
You can give the infrastructure for it.
I think this would also require a scheme. But I also think you could hire some young people to help with this. Mm-hmm. If an old person wants to put their, like a memoir out.
Yes.
Or something like that, you like create a facility to help them. And even if it's not like they've done anything crazy, it like helps build up a rich, textured sort of like, not moment of life. What am I thinking? Snap, the
slice of life.
Slice of life.
Yeah.
It lets you like build that up, and it also like lets them talk about their life, which is probably helpful.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it would be cool to have all that stuff.
Because that's it. I think about the game. I think about the history segments.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that I had no interest in until we started this. I really had no interest whatsoever in the North African campaign, really in World War II, in history at all. And then we started getting into this, and I'm like, wow, if I could have spoke to my great-granddad before he'd passed and asked him questions about this, I'm not sure how much he would have shared.
Yeah, you don't want to push them, but give them the option, I think.
Yeah, but he would have had some things to say, however big or small it would have been. There would have been some fucking crazy information I'm sure he would have been able to share at his will. And what kind of information is there out there from these anecdotal experiences?
And how much is lost and will never come back?
Because nowadays there's so much that's recorded. Everything is documented. the amount of people that record something, put it online, you can piece together the world, kind of like Batman's machine in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Where you can it's like echolocation from everyone's device in the city, and you can build up a sonic picture.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that with stories. Nowadays, you can do that with all of the recorded information, but all of the stuff predating that, there is still a window of time that's closing where there's information that came about before that.
That will be lost forever.
We don't have that yet. There is that window still. If we can capture that before we catch up to the massive digital era, we can probably still salvage that. So maybe that's it.
Yeah, you could have
some sort of memoir infrastructure, some memoir system. Maybe you encourage it or incentivize it. Maybe there's a fee paid for each memoir. Maybe you hire staff to do it. The financial viability is the question.
Even if there's not like a fee you're paying them, I think it could be something where it's like, oh, this is a public good.
Yeah, you're getting to put into it.
Or also, it's like, rather than everyone in a history class do a essay that's basically the same, and at this point they'll probably chat GPT it. It's like, oh, your assignment for this term is a family member.
Or
something
which
like
to be
that.
fair, I think is I do actually think
does
I have
happen
that at
a
some
bit,
point.
yeah. But you could extend that if you were worried about. But I think it's that's the kind of, because I know some elderly family members I have get very frustrated because they're a bit slower, but in their head they're not.
Yeah, well, I think that is it.
Yeah, but if you've got someone who's just patiently listening to them, they might not have any stories that change history or anything, but they might give you a really good insight into what it was like to live in this region in this time period at this socio-economic level. And then if that's collected, maybe historians down the line.
Yeah, because you always get the whole, back in my day. And I mean,
they love talking about.
Yeah, well, that's it. The amount of people who are elderly, and it's like you hear the same story 15 times from them. And it's every time you see them, they tell the same story about the same cruise that they went on. That was mine with my grandparents. It was they went on this cruise to Egypt, and it was the same cruise story you'd hear pretty much every week you'd go around for Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
And them getting the chance to speak to that whatever the context of that story is to a stranger. And
who's interested, importantly.
Yeah, it's first time round for them, for the stranger. It's not a family member who's been indoctrinated into this through generations at this point, where it's like, oh, this again. Instead, it's a fresh pair of eyes, fresh pair of ears. They're interested, they're engaged. They can transform that into an interesting narrative. And if it's voluntary, some old people, they just want to get on with getting old. They want to relax. They've got family. Maybe they will take care of grandchildren. Maybe they will just play golf. Who knows? But the people who want to share that story, if they can get to, I don't think there's anything cooler than a really good story told from someone.
Yeah.
Big believer in we play a lot of D&D. I love that aspect of sitting around, a narrative is woven. And I think if an elderly person can spin that, and they might do the bit of repeating the same small details, the whole, oh yes, and then we went here with, was it Derek's girlfriend or no. I think
Derek
they were engaged
had a
at that
limp
point.
by then, so he wasn't.
Yeah, and you'll get stuck on those points. But if you've got some sort of professional involved in this, they can disseminate that information.
They can also go through photo albums.
Yes.
They could even go through documents. It could even be a service where it's like, oh, we're going to go through your photo albums, we're going to organize all of them, but we're also going to go through all your documents because your finances tell us something about history, but also it's like a check to make sure nothing's being...
Yeah, you know what? There's actually safeguarding aspects to this as well, where you can stop financial abuse as well, maybe.
Yeah.
There's a few different benefits to this.
It would be kind of cool if, when a grandparent or someone died, you got the, will, but you also got their book.
Yes. Their story is condensed.
And they could, work up to it however long, and then someone will, produce that.
Everyone gets a biography.
In the family gets the biography of their guess the biography of their grandparents or their parents or whoever they want.
I think that's awesome. I think that's maybe that is the common ground. Maybe that's what old people can do. It's just, unfortunately, we can't give it. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the means.
That feels like it could be a charity. If someone enterprising is out there, that's probably put some good into the world.
Yeah, the Storytellers Charity.
Yeah.
You know what? What a wholesome fucking common ground that turned out to be.
That was a really nice one.
I didn't know where we were going with that. When I put it out there, I thought, old people, what are they going to do? That ended up really nice.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. We're putting the world to rights, Andy. I think when it comes to setting ourselves up for this last wave of conflict in this practice scenario, what a lovely jumping off point we've got.
What a great way to end turn 5.
We're just lovely guys. Just two subtle, humble, and brave guys. And I think when it comes to what we've got coming next, there will be ups and downs. But we're doing exactly what we've just encouraged. We're telling our story. And for those following along, thank you up to now. For those following in future, hello. And from me, James.
Me, Andy, stay subtle, humble, and brave.
In those deserts of your minds as we rapidly approach the end of this practice scenario and a very, very long 111 turns up ahead. And we'll see you for the whole journey. Good night.